Hey. What do you want to be today? Well, I can guarantee you this. I'm not going to manifest a monster into your child's life. You can bet on that. Hey, want a flower? That's what I love most. I love a girl's flower. The essence of her spirit. So we had a pretty good discussion this morning in the Gospel Chapel here where everybody gets a chance to be able to voice what they believe is going on, right? We are terrain mappers. I figure most of you that have at least gone to high school or college and gone into the information sciences business know what GIS is, right? GPS, then there's GIS, graphical information surveys, surveying the field, like, your land surveyors, they use very primitive by our standards technology out there. This is what they do with their time and their energy to get a paycheck, is putting up a tripod. Hey, we're going to survey the land. Well, imagine you can do that with your mind. Okay? Mapping the field. Vectors. Mapping vectors. Time vectors. Folding space. Mapping all the space. Retuning the cosmos to the proper frequencies so that we're all living in harmony, balance, right? Harmony with the waves, baby. Right? Singing and dancing. That's why I'm a drummer. We dance to the beat. Oh, metronomes. How fast do you want to go? How much space you want to fill up? I'm going to fill all of it up. Okay. Give me more space to create something else, and bang, it just filled up that space, filled up the vacuum of space. Wow. So imagine the only thing you're experiencing wherever you go that you're aware of is nothing but what light is, which is what love is. Wow. So that's called a frame of reference. That's the universe that you know that you live in. Because guess whose universe that is? Yours. I get to experience the universe you live in. And guess how we measure that? How much space are you filling up? Hey, that wave goes up, down. It's at such a high rate of speed, there isn't any space left. That's called a high-speed wave, which means the frequency in which that wave is going up and down, it's off the charts. Jesus, plug into this little kid. Simple stuff, huh? So when you're 4 years of age and all of a sudden you're aware of stuff and you realize you're aware of what they're aware of, and you realize you're aware of a lot more than that. How'd I get into this place? Right? So you realize that the universe is self-aware. It's intelligent and it's creative, and it got an enormous amount of electrical potential to really bang out your imagination. So when you've got unlimited electrical potential and you've got imagination, where do you think that kid's going to be in 100 years? Use the exponential function. Yeah, that's what I did looking at popular science, popular mechanics, all my dad's engineering manuals, right? I was very fortunate that I had a father as an engineer. He was the one who told me when I was about 7 years of age, because, males, left brain stuff, right? I don't run the emotional side, right? Most powerful energy in motion. Strictly intelligent. Just plug into some computer and then it can tell you what to do, and then you do it. Bifurcation, right? Go look at all the, what is it, ERIC as I remember it, if I go back to my graduate school days, and the Graduate School of Education, the University of Arkansas, about learning, how fast are you learning? Which basically means is that putting puzzles together at a high rate of speed because you love to learn. So when you have intense passion to learn, then what happens? You're learning a lot at a very high rate of speed, because the energy that you're using to map it with and thus experience it with, you begin to realize, wow, man, I'm moving through the cosmos at a high rate of speed. Yeah, that's called spirit. How powerful is your spirit? It's got to be powerful if you're going to wage war against a demon. Just the way it works. They're low frequency. We're high frequency. So you know they don't like our energy, right? Of course not. That's why they live in fear of that energy. They'll run for the hills. No, they run back home. They hide. So you got to be more powerful than a demon because we run on maximum light, which is infinite light, which is infinite love, which is infinite creativity. So if you use the exponential function, where do you think humans, if you will, humanity could be? 10 days? A year? How about a billion years? So imagine where we're at in terms of level of technology than they are. They wouldn't have any comprehension of what's going to be waged against them to wipe them all out. Okay? Because when Kim Jong-un basically said that we've declared war against them, well, when you have such, infinite empathy, which means I'm experiencing what you're experiencing, which is your energy profile, and that's not my energy, then I've got to restore you to restore me. So, that means any detection or loss of electrons, I'm going to experience that. And I don't ever want to experience any loss of electrons because that's not my energy, but I experience that as a result of being in here. Okay? So you have to be willing to sacrifice that, which is why wanting to leave at age 8 fell on deaf ears. That's when I realized, okay, I've got to be here for the duration. To be here for this celebration, for this liberation of humanity's consciousness, which is a global declaration of independence. That's what it is. Which means you are finally free. Your mind's energy is not going to be held captive. So somebody is trying to hold your mind as captive and steer you in a direction in which you become an energy slave to something that's lower in evolution than what we are. Okay? If you don't believe that you're more powerful than a demon, my God, you'll be consumed. And that's what they do. Rip souls out of children, put them in boxes, use it as food later. So how do you ever expect to go on if you allow your children to have that happen to them? Everything that they threw at us was to make sure that we never went on. Wow, really? Yeah. I mean, I collected all the data, and that was an enormous amount of processing of data, because that's what we do. We map the field, which is to map all the information, because all that information runs on electrons, because the light in which is able to feel that much love within our heart that we know that we're connected with, because we don't attach ourselves to anything. Okay, it's one of the reasons when I was just looking at me, I found out that when I'm with something that's lower vibration than me, don't follow me, because then I'm experiencing your energy all the time. I want to be with a spiritual warrior. A girl where the two of us can really zoom, right, at a very high rate of speed together. So we're learning together. So that's why Sophia was my first teacher. She loved to learn. So you want to learn from the best teacher in the cosmos, don't you? The grand creator? Fuck yes. So when you know that, and you know that as a child, it's just like, God, let's cut to the chase. Just zoom ahead to 2021, January 20th, right? And of course, I had already done that, because what I'm experiencing now, I experienced when I was, age 4 or 5, somewhere right around in there. I call those anchor points, which means certain things you want to keep. It's like when we used to go out and do work in the forest with the U.S. Forest Service, and you're going into terrain that you're unfamiliar with, right? Particularly at night, and you're going to go way the heck out. And so therefore, if you want to find your way back, if you don't have a map and a compass and you know how to map the terrain, in other words, if you know the steps that you took, that you started with, and you know how to follow your way back because it's in memory, which I know how to do that, then you don't need the flag. But one of the things that I did on my timeline is what I call anchor points. You're anchoring certain events that take place that are like epiphanies, right? Bang! The anchor's in the ground, like grounding yourself to the living battery of Mother Earth. So you know that your timeline is intact. In other words, it hasn't been fucked with. Okay? Because they know how to do that. They know how to do a lot of stuff that blow your mind. So you got to make sure that you're in charge of your timeline, not them. Which means trying to control what it is you experience, because they know how to electrically control it or direct it. because your state of awareness is so low, right? So you don't realize why you're experiencing the things that you are as you go forward in a reality, which is essentially, obviously, a hell realm, but that's not who we are, obviously, because we're higher than that, right? So heaven is always in your heart, so you never want to lose your heart because that's your power generator. And as a result of that, that allows you to have your battery full all the time because we know how to do that. Because otherwise, we're not going to be any good to you to heal you if we don't know how to do that, which is the rebound, which means, you know, they're always going after us, which means why would you want to hurt somebody that's trying to love you? Because they care about you. They're thinking about your health, just like Dr. Robert O. Young. You know? So look what he's doing.
Right there.
So I do the same thing, but in a different way, you know? So healing centers. Imagine what real healing centers with real technologies that'll bring people back, restore everything that they lost. Well, that's where we're headed because we won this all day. So for me, you know, it's simple stuff. You know, some people misread us and think that, man, you're arrogant. You're running on an ego. No, jeez. Please do not insult our intelligence. Okay? It's called intelligence. Your intelligence has risen. Your creative intelligence has risen. Just like my dad used to tell me as an aeronautical engineer, concepts. You're coming up with new ideas. Problem solvers. Always wanting to improve upon things. To do what? Advance your civilization. And the power that allows you to do that they don't have is infinite electrical potential coupled to creativity and imagination. That's pretty self-evident, right? Remember the box of crayons and a 4-year-old child? So imagine where that child can be if that child is unrestricted, where its mind's energy is not held captive. Man, that's unlimited potential, isn't it? Okay, well, when you know that as a child, it's just like, God. You begin to realize as a measurement between a teacher and a student, the vast difference between where the light is and where they are. And that's painful. It's painful because what it is another measurement of what happened to everybody here.
Morning, Jim. How you doing?
Okay?
Good so far.
So from a teacher's perspective, it's the worst kind of crime I know because we're talking about the evolution of a species because that's what the universe is for.